Aryna Sabalenka. Aryna Sabalenka, born the 5th of May 1998, is a Belarusian professional tennis player. She is a former world number 1 in both singles and doubles by the Women's Tennis Association, WTA. Sabalenka has won 2 major singles titles, at the 2023 and 2024 Australian Opens, and 2 major doubles titles, at the 2019 US Open and the 2021 Australian Open, both partnering with Elise Mertens. She has won 21 career titles in total, 15 in singles and 6 in doubles. Sabalenka was relatively unknown until 2017, when together with Alexandra Sasnovich they led the Belarus Fed Cup team to a runner-up finish, despite both of them being ranked outside the top 75 at the time. She finished both 2018 and 2019 ranked number 11 in the world in singles. Following 2 major singles semi-final appearances in 2021, Sabalenka peaked at the world number 2 ranking, but struggled to consistently maintain that success in 2022. In 2023, she won her first major singles title at the Australian Open, reached the semi-finals at all 4 major tournaments, also finishing runner-up at the US Open, and obtained the world number 1 ranking, being named the ITF World Champion for the season. Sabalenka also began playing doubles regularly in 2019. With Mertens as her partner, she completed the Sunshine Double by winning the 2 premier mandatory tournaments in March, the Indian Wells Open and the Miami Open. After the US Open doubles title later in the year, she also qualified for the WTA Finals for the first time. With the 2021 Australian Open doubles title, she became the world number 1 in the discipline. Sabalenka has a very aggressive style of play, often accumulating high numbers of winners and unforced errors. With her height, she also has a very powerful serve. Early life and background. Sabalenka was born in Minsk, the capital of Belarus. Her father Sergei, d. 2019, was an ice hockey player. Sabalenka started playing tennis by chance. She said, "One day, my dad was just driving me somewhere in the car, and on the way he saw tennis courts. So he took me to the courts. I really liked it and enjoyed it, and that's how it was. That's how it started." She began training at the National Tennis Academy in Minsk when it opened in 2014. In 2015, the Belarusian Tennis Federation persuaded Sabalenka and her team to focus on playing low-level professional events instead of junior tournaments, even though she was still eligible to compete at the junior level at the time. Junior career. Sabalenka had a late start on the ITF junior circuit, instead competing on the U14 and U16 Tennis Europe tours at a younger age. She did not compete in the main draw of any ITF events until 2013 at the low-level Grade 4 Tallink Cup in Estonia at the age of 15. She ultimately never played in the junior Grand Slam tournaments, or any other high-level Grade A and Grade 1 events. Without the higher point levels from these big tournaments, she had a career-high ranking of just number 225. Sabalenka won her first ITF title in doubles at the lowest level Grade 5 Aloud Tour Cup in Belarus in late 2013 with compatriot Vera Lapko as her partner. In 2014, she excelled at Grade 4 events. She reached her first singles final at the Estonian Junior Open in June and won her first singles title at the MTV Total Junior Cup in Finland in October. At the end of the season, Sabalenka defended her Aloud Tour Cup doubles title, this time with compatriot Iga Świątek, and also won the singles title. She only played in one tournament in 2015, the European Junior Championships. As a Grade B1 event, this was the highest level junior tournament she played in. She lost in the second round to top seed Marketa Vondrausova. Professional career. 2012 to 2016, top 200, Fed Cup debut. Sabalenka began playing on the ITF women's circuit in 2012, even before she competed on the ITF junior circuit. Her first 5 tournaments were in her hometown of Minsk and spread out over 2 years, but she did not win a main draw match in any of them. She won her first professional match at the very end of 2014 in Istanbul. The following season in October, she won her first 2 titles in back-to-back weeks in Antalya, both at the $10,000 level. Sabalenka also won a $25,000 title the last week of the year. This title put her into the top 300 of the WTA rankings for the first time at the start of 2016. That year, she made her Fed Cup debut in April, losing her only match. She also won her 2 biggest titles to date at the $50,000 level. The first in Tianjin put her into the top 200 in May, and the second in Toyota in November helped her finish the year ranked at number 137 in the world. 2017, Fed Cup Heroics, WTA 125 title, top 100. Despite some early season success in Fed Cup, Sabalenka had a quiet start to the year. She played in her first WTA Tour main draw in February as a qualifier at the Dubai Open. However, she did not win her first WTA Tour match until Wimbledon in July. In her Grand Slam debut, she again reached the main draw through qualifying and defeated Aryna Sabalenka in the opening round. Sabalenka followed up this achievement with another win at the Washington Open over number 34 Lauren Davis, the 2016 runner-up and the highest-ranked player she had defeated at the time. After losing in qualifying at the US Open, Sabalenka reached her first-ever WTA semifinal at the Tashkent Open, defeating third seed and world number 53, Tatiana Maria, along the way. A few weeks later, she entered the Tianjin Open as the 119th ranked player in the world, but managed to reach her first WTA tournament final. There, she faced her childhood idol Maria Sharapova, but ultimately lost in 2 tight sets. With this performance, she rose to number 76 in the rankings, entering the top 100 for the first time. After losing a tight Fed Cup final to the United States, Sabalenka finished the season by winning the biggest title of her career at the time at the Mumbai Open, a WTA 125 event. The title cemented her at number 73 at the end of the year. 2018, Newcomer of the Year, Premier 5 title. After playing relatively few WTA events in 2017, Sabalenka utilized her high ranking to play exclusively on the WTA Tour in 2018. She reached 2 quarter-finals to begin the year, but lost her opening round match at the Australian Open to top-ranked Australian and world number 18 Ashley Barty. She then won her first matches at a Premier tournament with a third-round appearance at the Indian Wells Open before the early year hard-court season came to a close, including a victory over number 19, Svetlana Kuznetsova. Sabalenka began the clay court season by reaching a second career final at the Ladies Open Lugano, where she finished runner-up to number 20 Elise Mertens. This success put her in the top 50 for the first time. However, she did not win another match for the rest of the clay court season. This included a first-round loss to number 22 Kiki Bertens at the French Open. Sabalenka had stronger results on grass, playing in tune-ups during each of the 3 weeks before Wimbledon. She made it to the quarter-finals at the Rosmalen Grass Court Championships and the final at the Premier Level Eastbourne International. At the latter event, she won 5 consecutive 3-set matches, including 3 over top 20 opponents and her first top 10 victory against defending champion and world number 7 Karolina Pliskova. Sabalenka lost the final to world number 2 Caroline Wozniacki. For the 3rd consecutive Grand Slam event, she went out in the first round at Wimbledon. During the North American hardcourt summer season, Sabalenka continued to rise through the rankings. At the 2 Premier 5 tournaments, she reached the 3rd round at the Canadian Open and the semi-finals at the Cincinnati Open. In the former, she avenged her previous loss to world number 2, Wozniacki, for the biggest win of her career, hitting 64 winners during the match. In the latter, she recorded 2 more top 10 wins over number 8 Pliskova and number 5 Caroline Garcia before losing to world number 1, Simona Halep. Just a week later, Sabalenka won her first WTA Tour title at the Premier-level Connecticut Open with wins over world number 9, Julia Gugas, in the semi-final, and Carla Suarez Navarro in the final. Playing a 4th consecutive week, she closed out this part of the season with her best result at a Grand Slam tournament to date, making it to the fourth round at the US Open. In particular, she upset world number 5, Petra Kvitova, in the third round before losing to the eventual champion, Naomi Osaka. She was the only player to win a set against Osaka in the tournament. After the US Open, Sabalenka earned her first number 1 seed at the Tournoi de Quebec, but lost her opening match. Nonetheless, she followed this up by winning the Premier 5-level Wuhan Open, the biggest title of her career. During the event, she upset number 6 Elena Svitolina in the second round and did not drop a set in any of her last 4 matches. The following week, Sabalenka reached the quarter-finals of the China Open, a run that included a win over defending champion and number 4, Caroline Garcia, for her 8th top 10 victory of the season. This success in China helped her climb to number 11 in the world. At the end of the season, Sabalenka qualified for the WTA Elite Trophy, where she was grouped with Garcia and Ashley Barty. She defeated Barty to open the group, but lost to Garcia in the group's final match. Barty, having defeated Garcia with fewer games lost, advanced out of the group through the tiebreak criteria to end Sabalenka's season. Nonetheless, she was named the WTA Newcomer of the Year for her excellent performance in her first full year on the WTA Tour. 2019, top 10 debut in singles, world number 2 in doubles. Singles, Elite Trophy, 3 titles in China in total. Although Sabalenka once again struggled at the Grand Slam tournaments, she ultimately finished the year with the same year-end ranking as in 2018 on the strength of 3 titles, all in China. She began the season by winning her third career WTA title at the Shenzhen Open, defeating Alison Riske in the final in a tight 3-set match. Due to rain delays in the earlier rounds, she needed to play both the semi-final and the final on the last day of the tournament. However, she could not build on this success in the rest of the first half of the year. Sabalenka lost to 17-year-old Amanda Anisimova in straight sets at both the Australian Open and the French Open in the third and second rounds, respectively. She had been considered the third leading favourite for the title at the Australian Open. Nonetheless, she made her top 10 debut following the event. Sabalenka fared worse at Wimbledon, losing her opening match to number 139 Magdalena Rybarikova. In between the Grand Slam tournaments, Sabalenka's best result was a semi-final loss to number 8, Kiki Bertens, at the Premier-level St. Petersburg Trophy in February. She also made the fourth round at the Indian Wells Open. Her best result on clay was a semi-final at the International de Strasbourg in May. Sabalenka had a better second half of the season. In her first tournament following Wimbledon, she finished runner-up to Zheng Saisai at the Silicon Valley Classic, a Premier-level event. She did not perform well at either Premier 5 tournament in August or the US Open, losing in the second round at the last Grand Slam tournament of the year. Sabalenka returned to China following the US Open, and produced 3 strong results in 4 events. After a quarter-final at the Zhengzhou Open, she defended her title at the Premier 5 Wuhan Open. During the event, she defeated number 8 Kiki Bertens in the third round and number 1 Ashley Barty in the semi-finals, her first victory over a current world number 1 player. She won the final over Alison Riske. At the end of the season, Sabalenka qualified for the WTA Elite Trophy for the second consecutive year. She swept her round-robin group of Maria Sakkari and her doubles partner Elise Mertens. In the knockout rounds, Sabalenka defeated Karolina Muchova and Bertens for her 5th career title, and her 3rd title of the year in China. Doubles, US Open champion, Sunshine Double. Sabalenka started the year ranked number 73 in doubles. She began partnering with Elise Mertens in January, when the pair lost to top seeds Barbora Krejcikova and Katerina Siniakova in the third round of the Australian Open. They had their breakthrough in March at the 2 Premier mandatory tournaments. In only their second tournament together, Sabalenka and Mertens won the Indian Wells Open. They defeated 3 of the top 5 seeds in the event, including second seeds Timea Bobosh and Kristina Mladenovic in the first round and top seeds Krejcikova and Siniakova in the final. The pair matched this success at their next event by winning the Miami Open to complete the Sunshine Double. They defeated 3 of the top 6 seeds, including 3rd seeds Shea Wei and Barbora Streisova in the second round. They won the final against 6th seeds Samantha Stosur and Zhang Shuai. With these 2 titles, Sabalenka rose to number 21 in the world. Sabalenka and Mertens continued to partner together throughout the year, entering 11 events before the year-end championships. Whereas Sabalenka did not have much success in the Grand Slam singles events, she produced much better results in doubles. Sabalenka and Mertens reached the semifinals at the French Open, losing to second seeds Bobosh and Mladenovic. They then reached the quarter-finals at Wimbledon, losing to third seeds Shea and Streisova. These were Sabalenka's first 2 appearances in at least the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam event. Sabalenka and Mertens had their best result of the year at the US Open. As the 4th seeds at the event, they made it to the final without having to play another top 10 seeded team. In the final, they faced 8th seeds Victoria Azarenka and Ashley Barty, the latter of whom had won the title a year earlier with Coco Vandeweghe. Sabalenka and Mertens defeated Azarenka and Barty in straight sets for their first career Grand Slam title in any discipline. With this title, Sabalenka made her top 10 debut in doubles at number 6 in the world. Sabalenka and Mertens made one more final during the year, finishing runner-up at the Wuhan Open where Sabalenka won the singles title. Their 3 big titles helped them win the race to Shenzhen and qualify for the WTA Finals as the top seeds. Before the event, Sabalenka and Mertens moved up to number 2 and no. 3 in the rankings, respectively, behind only world number 1, Barbora Streisova. At the WTA Finals, the pair were placed in a round-robin group with third seeds Bobosh and Mladenovic, 5th seeds Chan Haoqing and Letitia Chan, as well as 8th seeds Annalena Gronefeld and Demi Schuurs. In their opening match, they were upset by Gronefeld and Schuurs in a match tiebreak. After defeating the Chan sisters, Sabalenka and Mertens lost to Bobosh and Mladenovic in another match tiebreak and did not advance out of their group. 2020, 3 WTA Tour titles, year-end top 10. Sabalenka continued on from her late-season surge by reaching the semi-finals in Adelaide. She came from a 3-5 final set deficit against Shea Wei before sliding past Bernarda Pera and shocking second seed Simona Halep, whom she had never won a set against before, in straight sets. She then lost in straight sets to eventual runner-up Diana Yastremska. Despite her good start to the season, she was upset by Carlos Suarez Navarro in 2 tiebreakers in the first round of the Australian Open. In doubles she enjoyed moderate success with Mertens reaching the quarter-finals, before losing to the Chan sisters. Her next tournament was the Dubai Tennis Championships where she made the quarter-finals with wins over Maria Sakkari and doubles partner Mertens. There she faced Simona Halep. Despite taking the first set she was unable to repeat her earlier upset, falling to the eventual champion in 3 sets. She rebounded at the Qatar Open, reaching the final with wins over Anett Kontaveit, Maria Sakkari, Zheng Saisai, and Svetlana Kuznetsova. In the final, she defeated Petra Kvitova in straight sets to claim her 3rd Premier 5 title. After tennis resumed in August due to COVID-19, she was the 2nd seed in Lexington where she survived Madison Brengel in 3 sets but then fell in a 3-set thriller to 16-year-old Coco Gauff. Her results continued to disappoint as, seeded 5th, she crashed out in the second round of both Cincinnati and New York to Jessica Pegula and a resurgent Victoria Azarenka. She had moderate success in doubles, reaching the quarter-finals of both events. Her results in singles began to improve on clay as she reached the semi-finals in Strasbourg and the 3rd round of the French Open, losing to Elena Svitolina and Ons Jabeur, respectively. That was Sabalenka's last loss of the season. In Ostrava, she came from 5-2 in the decider down to avenge her Lexington loss to Gauff and lost the first 10 games of her quarter-final match against Sarah Sorribes Tormo before winning the next 12 to win. In the final, she avenged her US Open loss to Azarenka, defeating her compatriot in straight sets. She then also took the Linz title by defeating Elise Mertens in the final. This gave Sabalenka the first year-end top 10 finish in her career. 2021, world number 1 in doubles, 2 major semi-finals, world number 2 in singles. Sabalenka entered 2021 on a 9-match winning streak, and participated in her first tournament of the year at the Abu Dhabi Open as the 4th seed. She defeated Polona Hertzog in straight sets, coming back from a 5-2 deficit in the first set, and then defeated Ayla Tomljanovic and Ons Jabeur to reach the quarter-finals, similarly in straight sets. She defeated Elena Rybakina in the quarter-finals, where she dropped her first set of the week, before defeating Maria Sakkari, in straight sets. In the final, Sabalenka defeated first-time finalist Veronika Kudermetova, in straight sets, losing just 4 games in total. The run to the title at Abu Dhabi extended her winning streak to 15 matches, and catapulted her to a new ranking of number 7. Sabalenka went into the Australian Open looking to make a Grand Slam singles quarter-final for the first time in her career. She was defeated in the 4th round by 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams in 3 sets. Sabalenka won the doubles competition with Elise Mertens. By virtue of winning the title, Sabalenka ascended to world number 1 in the doubles rankings for the first time in her career. On the 22nd of February 2021, as defending champion at the Qatar Open in Doha, and after receiving a first-round bye, Sabalenka was defeated in her first match by eventual finalist Garbiñe Muguruza, in 3 sets. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, in her first tournament since becoming number 1 in doubles, Sabalenka and Mertens received a bye in the first round and lost their opening match to Jessica Pegula and Bethany Matk-Sands. Sabalenka cruised through to the quarter-finals in the singles event, defeating 15th seed Anett Kontaveit along the way, before losing to Muguruza for the second time in as many weeks, again in 3 sets. Sabalenka won the title at the Madrid Open where she faced Ashley Barty in the championship match. It was a rematch of the 2021 Porsche Tennis Grand Prix final, 2 weeks earlier, as Sabalenka faced her vanquisher, world number 1 Ashley Barty. As a result of her 4th WTA 1000 title, she entered the top 5 rankings in singles at world number 4. Sabalenka and compatriot Victoria Azarenka won the doubles event at the German Open, defeating the top-seeded pair of Demetrius and Nicole Melika. Seeded second at Wimbledon, Sabalenka reached her first Grand Slam quarter-final and semi-final, defeating 18th seed Elena Rybakina and 21st seed Ons Jabeur in straight sets, respectively. She then lost her semi-final match against Karolina Pliskova in 3 sets. As a result of her performance at Wimbledon, she reached a career-high ranking of world number 3 in the WTA singles rankings. Sabalenka became the 3rd Belarusian woman to reach the last 4 of Wimbledon, following Natasha Zvereva in 1998 and Victoria Azarenka in 2011 and 2012. Sabalenka continued her season at the Canadian Open in Montreal. She reached the semi-finals but lost to Karolina Pliskova, in straight sets. She then lost her opening round match against Paula Badosa at the Cincinnati Open. Despite the loss, Sabalenka reached a career-high ranking of world number 2. At the US Open, Sabalenka reached her 2nd consecutive, and 2nd overall, major semi-final following wins over Danielle Collins, Elise Mertens, and Barbora Krejcikova. In the semi-final, she lost to Leylah Fernandez in 3 sets. Due to a positive COVID-19 test, Sabalenka was not able to play at Indian Wells. 2022, WTA Finals runner-up, 2nd US Open semi-final. Sabalenka began her season at the 2022 Adelaide International 1 as the 2nd seed. After a first-round bye, Sabalenka lost in the 2nd round in straight sets to Kaja Juvan. Sabalenka served 18 double faults to 5 aces. Next, Sabalenka received a wild card to enter the Adelaide International 2 and was seeded top, but lost her first round to a qualifier, world number 93 Rebecca Peterson, in 3 sets. Once again Sabalenka struggled with her serve, recording 21 double faults for the match. She entered the Australian Open as the 2nd seed. Sabalenka's serving struggles continued, but but she managed to dig out 3-set wins against world number 128 Storm Sanders, number 100 Wang Xinyu and number 41 Marketa Vondrausova to advance to the fourth round for the second time in her career. She faced off against giant killer Kaya Konopi, who had defeated the 16th seed Angelique Kerber in the first round. Konopi prevailed in a tight 3-set match, which ended in a third-set super tiebreak. Sabalenka managed to save 4 match points during the match, but also served 15 double faults to Konopi's 4. She found some form reaching quarter-finals at the Qatar Open, beating Alize Cornet and Jill Teichmann, before losing to the eventual champion Iga Świątek in the semifinals. Following early exits in Indian Wells, Miami, and Charleston, she reached her first final of 2022 at the Women's Stuttgart Open, defeating Bianca Andreescu, world number 6 Anett Kontaveit, and Paula Badosa, the new world number 2, eventually losing to world number 1, Świątek, again. Entering as the defending champion at the Madrid Open, Sabalenka was knocked out by Amanda Anisimova in the first round. At the Italian Open, after defeating Zhang Shuai, Amanda Anisimova, and Jessica Pegula, she lost to Świątek in the semi-finals for the third time in 2022. At the French Open, Sabalenka lost in the third round to Camila Giorgi in 3 sets. Sabalenka began the grass court season at the Libermo Open as the top seed, where she made the final, losing to Ekaterina Alexandrova. She then entered the German Open as the third seed, but lost in the first round to Veronika Kudermetova. Due to Wimbledon's ruling on Russian and Belarusian players, Sabalenka was banned from participating in the event due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, cutting her grass season short. She opened the US hardcourt swing in Silicon Valley Classic, losing to Daria Kasatkina in the quarter-finals. She then played the Canadian Open, losing to Coco Gauff in the third round. Her best result since Stuttgart came at Cincinnati Open, where as the 6th seed, she made the semi-finals, defeating Anna Kalinskaya, Shelby Rogers, and Zhang Shuai before losing to eventual champion Caroline Garcia in 3 sets. She then made her best run of the season at the US Open. Seeded 6th, she defeated Catherine Harrison, Kaya Konopi, Clara Burrell, 19th seed Danielle Collins, and 22nd seed and former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova to reach the semi-finals, matching her previous best result from 2021. In her second round match against Konopi, Sabalenka came back from 6-2, 5-1 down to win in 3 sets, saving 2 match points in the process. In the semi-finals, she was defeated by world number 1, Iga Świątek, for the 4th time this season. At the San Diego Open, Sabalenka defeated Sloane Stephens in 3 sets before losing to Donna Vekic in the quarter-finals. In receipt of a first-round bye in Guadalajara, she lost to Ludmila Samsonova in the second round. However, she managed to qualify for the WTA Finals for a second straight year. There, she reached the final, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula and number 2 Ons Jabeur in the round-robin stage, and number 1 Iga Świątek in the semi-finals, but lost to Caroline Garcia in straight sets. She became the 4th woman to defeat the top 3 players at the same tournament, joining Steffi Graf, 1999 Roland Garros, Serena Williams, 2002 Miami Open, and Venus Williams, 2008 WTA Finals. 2023, Australian Open champion, US Open final and world number 1. Sabalenka entered Adelaide 1 as the second seed. She reached her first final of the season by defeating Ludmila Samsonova, Marketa Vondrausova, Irina Camelia Begu en route. Then, she defeated Czech teenage qualifier Linda Noskova to win her first title since Madrid 2020 first and 11th career title without dropping a single set. Sabalenka entered the Australian Open as the 5th seed and one of the title contenders. She defeated Teresa Martinkova, Shelby Rogers, former doubles partner and 26th seed Elise Mertens, and the previous week's Adelaide 2 champion and world number 10 Belinda Bencic to reach her first ever Australian Open quarter-final. She then beat Donna Vekic to reach her 4th Grand Slam semi-final, and won her 10th consecutive match by beating Magdalenette to make her first ever major final. In the final, she defeated reigning Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina in 3 sets to win her first major title. She became the second Belarusian to ever win a major singles title, and the first since Victoria Azarenka a decade prior. After winning the title in Melbourne, Sabalenka rose back to number 2 in the WTA rankings. In Dubai, Sabalenka defeated Lauren Davis and Jelena Ostapenko to reach the quarter-finals, where she fell to the eventual champion Barbora Krejcikova, in 3 sets. She then participated in Indian Wells, where she defeated Evgenia Rodina and took revenge from Barbora Krejcikova for her last defeat in 3 sets. Then she beat Coco Gauff and Maria Sakkari to reach her first Indian Wells final, where she lost to Elena Rybakina in a rematch of the 2023 Australian Open final. In Miami, Sabalenka defeated Shelby Rogers, Marie Bouzkova, and Barbora Krejcikova each in straight sets to reach the quarter-finals, where she was defeated by Sorana Cîrstea. Sabalenka started her clay court season in Stuttgart, where she defeated Barbora Krejcikova, Paula Badosa, and Anastasia Potapova to reach her 4th final of the year. In the final, which was a rematch of last year's final, she was defeated by world number 1 Iga Świątek in straight sets for the 2nd consecutive year. In Madrid, Sabalenka reached her 2nd final at this tournament, defeating Sorana Cîrstea, Camila Osorio, Mira Andreeva, Maya Sharif, and Maria Sakkari, dropping just 1 set en route to the final. In the final, she once again faced Iga Świątek, and won her 3rd title of the year in 3 sets. In Rome, Sabalenka suffered her first early defeat of the year, losing in straight sets to former Grand Slam champion Sofia Kenin. At the French Open, she reached the semi-finals without dropping a set, defeating Marta Kostyuk, Irina Shimonovic, Kamila Rakimova, Sloane Stephens, and Elena Svitolina. In the semi-finals, she faced Karolina Muchova. Sabalenka lost this match in 3 sets, despite leading 5-2 and holding match point. Sabalenka began her grass court season in Berlin, defeating Vera Zvonareva before losing to Veronika Kudermetova. Sabalenka next competed at Wimbledon, where she reached her 4th straight major semi-final. Sabalenka defeated Panna Udvardi, Varvara Gracheva, Anna Blinkova, Ekaterina Alexandrova, and Madison Keys, before losing to Ons Jabeur, despite leading by a set and a break. Her next tournament was Montreal, where she defeated Petra Martic, before losing in 3 sets to eventual runner-up Ludmila Samsonova. She next reached the semi-finals in Cincinnati, defeating Ann Lee, Daria Kasatkina, and Ons Jabeur, before falling once again in 3 sets to Karolina Muchova. At the US Open, Sabalenka reached the semi-finals by defeating Marina Zanevska, Jody Burrage, Clara Burel, Daria Kasatkina, and Zheng Qinwen in straight sets, dropping just 21 games in all 5 matches. Following these wins, Sabalenka became the first player since Serena Williams in 2016 to reach the semi-finals of all 4 Grand Slam events in 1 year. She faced Madison Keys in the semi-finals, recovering from a set-and-break deficit and serving to stay in the match 4 times in the final 2 sets. In her 2nd major final of the year, Sabalenka faced Coco Gauff, and lost in 3 sets. Due to the loss of world number 1 Iga Świątek in the 4th round, Sabalenka became, for the first time, the world number 1 tennis player at the conclusion of the tournament. Sabalenka became the 29th player to be ranked number 1 in the world on the WTA Tour, and the 2nd Belarusian, after Victoria Azarenka. She was also just the 8th female player to have been ranked number 1 in the Open era in both singles and doubles at some point in their careers. With Sabalenka reaching the final, she became the first woman since Serena Williams to reach the semi-finals or better at all 4 majors in a season since 2016. After the US Open, Sabalenka reached the quarter-finals of the China Open, losing to Rybakina. At the WTA Finals, she defeated Rybakina and Sakkari and lost to Pegula in the group stage. Sabalenka then lost in the semi-finals to Świątek, who would go on to win the event. As a result, Świątek reclaimed the world number 1 ranking and Sabalenka finished as year-end number 2. In December, Sabalenka was named the ITF World Champion. 2024, second consecutive Australian Open title, 2 WTA 1000 finals. In January, Sabalenka reached the final of the Brisbane International, defeating 3-seeded opponents, Zhu Lin, third round, Daria Kasatkina, quarter-final, and Victoria Azarenka, semi-final, before falling to Elena Rybakina. Sabalenka won the 2024 Australian Open without losing a set and became the first woman to defend her title there since Azarenka in 2013. Sabalenka received praise for her consistent and dominant performances throughout the tournament. Notable victories included wins against former world number 2, Barbora Krejcikova, 9th seed, reigning US Open champion Coco Gauff, 4th seed, and Zheng Qinwen, 12th seed, who was playing in her first Grand Slam final. Gauff had previously defeated Sabalenka a few months prior in the final of the 2023 US Open. In the final itself, she did not commit any double faults, in stark contrast to previous performances at major tournaments. After less successful appearances in Dubai, Indian Wells, and Miami, she reached the quarter-finals at Stuttgart, where she was eliminated by Marketa Vondrousova. As the defending champion in Madrid, she defeated Magdalenette, Robin Montgomery, Danielle Collins and Mira Andreeva before edging a 3-set semi-final victory over world number 4 Elena Rybakina. In total, she played 4 3-set matches to reach the final, dropping 60 games in the process, the most to reach the women's singles final in Madrid. In the rematch of the previous year's final, she faced Iga Świątek. During an intense 3-set battle, Sabalenka had 3 championship points, but eventually was defeated in 3 sets in Rome. She saved 3 match points in her 4th-round match against Elena Svitolina, and also endured a lower back injury before eventually defeating her opponent in 3 sets. In the quarterfinal, she earned her 3rd WTA Top 10 win of the year by defeating Jelena Ostapenko. It was followed by a semi-final victory over Danielle Collins, before Sabalenka fell again to Iga Świątek in the final, this time in straight sets. She entered the French Open as the 2nd seed, and defeated Erica Andreeva, Moka Ujima, Paula Badosa and 22nd seed Emma Navarro in straight sets. In the quarterfinal, she was visibly hampered by stomach issues and lost to Mira Andreeva in 3 tight sets. It was the first time in a Grand Slam tournament since 2022 US Open where she did not reach at least the semi-finals. With this loss, she fell in the WTA ranking to number 3. Sabalenka suffered a right shoulder injury which forced her to retire during her quarter-final match against Anna Kalinskaya at the 2024 Berlin Ladies Open in June, and she subsequently withdrew from the 2024 Wimbledon Championships having failed to recover in time to play. National representation, Fed Cup, early appearances. Sabalenka represented Belarus at the Junior Fed Cup in 2014, with the team finishing in 6th place. She then made her Senior Fed Cup debut for Belarus in April 2016, losing a dead rubber doubles match against Russia. Nonetheless, the Belarusian team led by Victoria Azarenka and Alexandra Sasnovich won the tie to qualify for the top-tier world group the following season for the first time in their history. 2017, surprise runner-up in world group debut. The Belarus Fed Cup team made their debut in the world group and ultimately reached the final, despite being the underdogs in all 3 ties. Little was expected from the team because they were without their veteran leader Azarenka, who missed the first 2 ties on maternity leave and the last because of a custody battle. Without her, Belarus was led by Sabalenka and Sasnovich, neither of whom had ever been ranked above number 76 by the time of the final. However, they did have the advantage of playing all of their ties at home in Minsk. The ties in the quarter-finals against the Netherlands in February and the semi-finals against Switzerland in April both played out in the same way. While Sabalenka lost her opening matches to their opponents' respective top-ranked players of Kiki Bertens and Timea Bashinsky, Sasnovich was able to give Belarus a 2-1 lead in each instance. Sabalenka then clinched both ties, with wins over Michaela Kretsek and number 54 Victoria Golubic, respectively. She was only ranked number 125 at the time of the semi-final, with no career tour match wins outside of Fed Cup. I've never felt so much emotion in a match. When you play at home and you are down 0-1 and you have to win and you fight with yourself. I just started crying because it was such an important match. Sabalenka on her Fed Cup rubber win over Stevens. On the opening day of the final against the United States, Sabalenka upset the reigning US Open champion and world number 13, Sloane Stevens, to level the tie after Sasnovich lost her first rubber to number 10, Coco Vandeweghe. The next day began with Sabalenka losing to Vandeweghe, before Sasnovich again leveled the tie by defeating Stevens. Sabalenka and Sasnovich were then selected for the decisive doubles rubber for the Fed Cup crown, but the duo were comprehensively defeated by Vandeweghe and Shelby Rogers. Despite finishing as runner-up, Belarus's Fed Cup success helped popularize women's tennis in Belarus, and vaulted Sabalenka and Sasnovich into international prominence. Sasnovich said, "When we played the quarter-finals and semi-finals in Minsk, a lot of people were coming to see our matches. They finally saw tennis in life, and it's like a popularization. I want my country to improve even more in tennis, because I think we can have even more from Belarus." 2018-19, avoiding demotion, another semi-final. Belarus was unable to repeat their 2017 Fed Cup success in 2018. Their quarter-final tie was held in Minsk against Germany. Although Sabalenka won both of her singles rubbers, Sasnovich and Vera Lapko lost each of theirs to set up a decisive doubles rubber. Sabalenka and doubles specialist Lidzia Marazava were selected for the match, with Sabalenka playing on short rest directly after her last singles match. After taking the first set against Annalena Gronefeld and Tatiana Maria, they ultimately lost the rubber and the tie. Their next tie was again contested in Minsk as part of the World Group playoffs, with Slovakia competing to take Belarus's place in the World Group the following season. Sabalenka and Sasnovich each split their two singles rubbers, with Sabalenka being upset by Victoria Kuzmova. Doubles specialists Lapko and Marazava were chosen for the final rubber and the pair won the match to keep Belarus in the World Group for 2019. In the 2019 Fed Cup, Belarus were drawn against Germany in the quarter-finals for the second consecutive year. After Sasnovich won the opening rubber against Maria, Sabalenka won both of her singles rubbers against Andrea Petkovic and Laura Ziga to clinch the tie. They advanced to face Australia in the semi-finals. Only two players from each team participated, Sabalenka and Azarenka for Belarus, and Ashley Barty and Samantha Stosur for Australia. Both Sabalenka and Azarenka defeated Stosur, but lost to Barty. In the decisive doubles rubber, Barty and Stosur won in 3 sets to eliminate Belarus. Rivalries. Iga Świątek. Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Świątek have met 12 times since 2021, with Świątek in control of the head-to-head at 8-4. Their rivalry is seen as becoming one of the greatest in women's tennis. Their most praised match is the 2024 Madrid Open final in which Świątek defeated defending champion Sabalenka in 3 sets after 3 hours and 11 minutes, saving 3 championship points in the process. Playing style. Sabalenka is a baseliner with a powerful, aggressive style. She has a powerful serve and equally powerful ground strokes, and her game is based around taking control of points and hitting winners. She has said, "I hope all my shots can be strong, but my serve, I feel, is the best." Sabalenka's strong serve, which can reach 200 km/h, 124 miles per hour, allows her to serve a large number of aces. In 2023, she ranked 3rd of all players in aces served, at 401. Her serve is inconsistent, however, leading to a high double fault count. She served 166 double faults in 2020, the most of any player. Sabalenka notably suffered from the yips from the 2021 WTA Finals and into 2022, serving 152 double faults in 11 matches, an average of 14 double faults a match. Her second serve began to show improvements from August 2022, having worked with a biomechanics expert following the 2022 Canadian Open. Overall, Sabalenka served 440 double faults in 2022. Her ground strokes are often hit with relentless pace and depth. Tennis broadcaster and former professional player Mary Caio praised the power in her style of play along with her fierce attitude, describing her game as big babe tennis personified. Although Sabalenka has the ability to hit a lot of winners, they can be accompanied by a lot of unforced errors. In her first career top 10 victory against Karolina Pliskova, she hit 40 winners and 39 unforced errors. Her second career top 10 victory against Caroline Wozniacki was similar, featuring 64 winners and 54 unforced errors. Her coach Dmitry Tursunov credited her improvement in the summer of 2018 on developing better shot selection. He said, "The major thing is she stopped trying hit a winner with every shot." Sabalenka prefers playing on grass and hard courts. She commented, "This year I played for the first time on grass courts. And I really liked it. I enjoyed my game on the grass courts, the feeling of grass, that's nice. I think my game is suited for grass and for hard courts." On clay, she made both the singles and doubles finals at the 2018 Ladies Open Lugano. She won her first clay court title at the 2021 Madrid Open. Sabalenka frequently accompanies her shots with loud grunting. She said, "Honestly, I don't even hear myself when I am playing." However, she expressed her hopes that her grunting has no disturbance on her opponents. At the Australian Open in 2018, the home crowd mocked her habit in a match against Australian Ashley Barty's coaches. Sabalenka had worked with Khalil Ibrahimov for 2 years up until early 2018. At this point, she began working with former Swedish professional tennis players Magnus Norman and Magnus Tideman. Dmitry Tursunov became her primary coach in time for the grass court season in 2018. Sabalenka briefly split with Tursunov after the 2019 US Open. Although they reunited later in the year, she made the split permanent at the end of the season. Sabalenka briefly worked with Dieter Kindelmann before switching coaches to her longtime hitting partner and compatriot Anton Dubrov, aged 25 at the time. As of 2024, her coaching team includes Dubrov, fitness trainer Jason Stacy, a martial arts expert, and hitting partner Andrei Vasilevsky. Sponsorships. Sabalenka has been endorsed by Nike for apparel and shoes since the beginning of her professional career. Nike began to design custom garments for Sabalenka starting from the 2023 US Open. She is also endorsed by Wilson, specifically using the Wilson Blade range of rackets. Personal life. Sabalenka has a tiger tattoo on her left arm. This tattoo has earned her the nickname the Tiger, which she has used to refer to herself. Sabalenka has studied at the Belarusian State University in a sports-related program. Her tennis idols growing up were Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova. Sabalenka's father, a former ice hockey player, died suddenly in 2019 at age 43. He had meningitis. Sabalenka's boyfriend since 2021, Konstantin Koltsov, died of apparent suicide in March 2024 at the age of 42. Sabalenka later confirmed that the couple were separated at the time of his death. Political views. In August 2020 during the 2020-2021 Belarusian protests, Sabalenka criticized the government of Alexander Lukashenko for its dispersal of peaceful protests and called for no violence, but was criticized by members of the Belarusian opposition for not using her platform to advocate for the goals of the protest movement. She separately praised the Belarusian government for everything that is done for the country in general and for sports in particular. In 2020, during widespread protests after the disputed election, Sabalenka signed an open letter which stated that sport should remain outside of politics. The letter was considered by Belarusian media to be supportive of Lukashenko, for it followed an open letter by Belarusian sporting figures demanding the election be invalidated. Following the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Sabalenka expressed support for Ukrainian people and the use of Ukraine-colored ribbons. "I feel like people need our support. I just hope they understand that we're all really concerned. I think even sad isn't even the right word. In January 2023, with regard to the war and the banning of Russian and Belarusian players from the 2022 Wimbledon Championships, Sabalenka stated, "I just understand that it's not my fault." Her comments on the Russian invasion of Ukraine and situation of Ukrainian tennis players were criticized by Lisha Azarenka's coach Nikita Vlasov and former Ukrainian player Sergei Stakhovsky for lacking substance and compassion. Sabalenka indicated support for ending the war in Ukraine, stating, "If I could stop the war I would do it, but unfortunately that doesn't lie in my hands. I just hope for peace." During a press conference at the 2023 French Open, when asked about the war by Ukrainian journalist Daria Meshcheryakova, she said, "Nobody in this world, Russian athletes or Belarusian athletes, support the war. Nobody. How can we support the war? Nobody, normal people will never support it." She later said, "I don't want my country to be in any conflict, I don't support war, meaning I don't support Lukashenko right now." Television and film. Sabalenka appears in the tennis docuseries Breakpoint, which premiered on Netflix on the 13th of January 2023. Grand Slam Tournament Performance Timelines. Singles. Doubles. Grand Slam Tournament Finals. Singles, 4, 2 titles, 1 runner-up, 1 pending. Doubles, 2 titles. Year-end championships finals. Singles, 1 runner-up.